The reason why you're struggling on defense in college football 26 is because you have no idea what you're doing. There's so many areas that you can improve, but don't worry, because in this video I'm breaking down 5 tips that's going to absolutely transform your defense. I just helped this player do it, and if you follow the things I break down, you're going to be doing the same thing. Let's jump right into it. All right, before you jump on the field, you need to always make sure you have the right settings equipped to give you the best chance to win. Let me show you the best ones to use. All right, so when we talk about settings, we need to make sure that we come to our cornerback matchup to make sure this is on balanced, all right? I'm gonna tell you why in a second. Defensive motion response needs to be on disabled, okay? You need to make sure your RPO pass key is on conservative. Your curl flats, now, these are very important. We're gonna talk about these later in the video, but essentially, you need to change these all throughout the game, or you can just set your curl flats to 5 and kind of leave them, and your defense is gonna play how you want it to, okay? Close, pinch, of course, for your safety alignment, and then if you pause the game, come into game options, come into settings, right? You're going to scroll down until you find this defensive ball hawk. Make sure this is on. Heat seeker assist on. Heat seeker window 100% so that you can make those dive tackles, and then you need to make sure your switch to delay, is on none, okay? We're gonna talk about 2 quick things here for those of you that don't know, right? The reason why you want to make sure you have your safety depth on close, if you look at Sab and Bray Hubbard right here, you see how much closer they are to the line of scrimmage than if you just were to not use the safety depth close, right? So if they were to try to high throw like a seam pass, you're going to be able to see Bray Hubbard's way closer to the line of scrimmage, and it's going to make, your defense a lot better overall, right? And obviously if they try to do that to the other seam, right, maybe let's say they motion over trying to attack this area that looks open, right, over that receiver, well, if they just try to high throw that seam, not only is the safety there, but the corner is going to be able to break on it. So that's going to be very helpful for you. And then also it's like, even if they put like their B receiver on a shriek, right, and motioned out, like it's not like that safety being that far over, or this guy Bray Hubbard being this far inside, it's really not going to matter because you're going to have those other defenders in the field. Like if they try to throw that pass lead inside, there's a vert hook and there's another flat. So there's no real downside to safety depth on close with it on pinch. But the reason why I say you want to make sure you have your cornerback matchups on balance is because, look, you never want to let this happen where they no huddle, right? And then your corners are trying to like follow, or your safeties, because you have them by speed and they're trying to match up with whatever you have it set to, whether it's height, route running, whatever. That's what they're going to try to match up with in zone coverage. And then you can see how if they just call it like a stock play like verticals, they're going to see your whole defense basically misaligned, and they're just going to be able to call an easy touchdown over the top. The only way for you to be able to fix that, if this happens to your defense, never try to move these guys back. Please just call a timeout if you have one, and then make sure you have the setting correct for the rest of the game and all future games, because it's like you're not going to be able to like move all, like if I try to move this whole defense back to how it was, it would take way too long and they would just snap the ball and have an easy touchdown, right? So it's like you have to make sure that you use safety depth close, and then safety width on pinch, but you have your cornerback matchups on balance, and those are the optimal defensive settings you want to use. All right, the next thing that's very important for you to be able to improve your defense is having a blitz that can get the quarterback on the ground in a hurry. Let me show you one of my favorites right now. So this is from 335 Penny. All right, so you're going to come into 335 Penny. Now, there's a couple of different things that you can do. You can just call, if you want to run man coverage, you can call pinch bucko, right? So we're going to call this play. This is basically like 335 wide, or I guess they call it 3 cub now. So essentially what you can do is you can shift your D line to the left here in this case, and then that's going to allow you to stand right here over this center and play 3-on-2 on the left side of the offensive line. So if you go ahead and drop this, outside linebacker into a curl flat, you set up a cover 2 defense, right? So something like this, or actually I thought my adjustments were something else, but I'm just going to go ahead and reset the play. And that's important because I'm actually going to talk about quick adjustments next. If you mess up your quick adjustments, right, just reset your play. Please do not let that happen. But again, you're right here. You can just leave everyone in man coverage. All right, put your user in a zone. Again, turbo engage, D-pad up, right trigger, left stick down, right? If we get the attention of the center, you're able to see, actually, I can just user rush right there because the center lets me come in free. So basically, if you just think about this logically, right? If you overload them on the left side, they have 2 offensive linemen, and if you can get the attention of the center, right, then I mean they're going to be able to come in free. Now you are able to see that the running back is blocked. We get one of our guys to come in free. The running back steps up to block him, and how fast he's going to shed him because this is a defensive end against a running back. So it's just going to be very quick with the pressure. But I mean, we actually executed the concept pretty well right there. Obviously, you know, sometimes people are going to send their running back out, which is obviously going to make this a little bit easier for you. But always put your user in a zone so that you can switch stick your defense. But D-pad up, right trigger, left stick down. All right, take the snap. You can see how I get that A gap. I'm able to, you know, get that A gap rush with number 96, you know, right in the middle of the defense, right? Because like you see, I get the attention of the center, so it just allows one of those three guys on the left side to come in free, and this time it's the nose tackle. Now, here's the key. You want to be able to get back into coverage as soon as possible. Right here, and the way you do that is spam A on Xbox, X on PlayStation, right? But right here, he's actually like holding me a little bit, so I wasn't truly able to get back into coverage because you want to be able to take away passes over the middle of the field still, right? You don't want to you know, kind of, you know, allow them to just hit their drags and stuff. Now, if you wanted to like route commit your entire defense, something else I talked about in some previous videos, you could shade inside, route commit your entire defense inside, you know, if you wanted to do that. You know, that's another adjustment that you just have to make though. So, but again, you could do that, make your man coverage a little bit better. But again, same thing, stand right on sides, right trigger, left stick down, boom, take the snap. I get the attention of him, and now I'm actually trying to get back into coverage, which you see I'm able to do, and then we are able to get two guys to come in free, even though they blocked their running back. So I would say that blitzing in this game, if you guys play Madden, blitzing in this game is a lot harder than it is in Madden, but it's still about the same concepts, right? If you can just have more guys over the top of their offensive linemen, right, it's just going to be very easy for you. Again, with this blitz, everyone's in a one-on-one. If they block their running back, you also have this man who basically turns into like a quarterback spy or like another zone right here over the middle. So that's nice. And then we're able to get the quarterback on the ground here. So that's a really good blitz that you can start using because it's just overloading, and yeah, it's one that you really need to try out and it'll make you better on defense. All right, so what if I told you there's a way to get your entire defense set up in like under 2 seconds? Let me show you how to do that. All right, so you can see right here, obviously I'm in a cover 2. You can do this out of any play, any defense, okay? So really, this is called quick adjustments, okay? So you're gonna press, really, you can quick adjust your defensive line. You can do it for your safeties, you can do it for your linebackers, okay? So here's the basic understanding. If you press D-pad left twice, you're gonna open these adjustments, all right? You're gonna press D-pad left twice, it's gonna be the defensive lineman. All right, and then you can choose their button and you can put any defensive lineman in any, you know, assignment. If you press D-pad right twice, that's gonna open the linebackers, okay? And then obviously you can press one of their buttons, which are gonna be displayed, and you're going to be able to put them in any assignment. And if you press Y twice, which is triangle on PlayStation, right, then you're going to be able to open the secondary adjustments. And again, you see all of their buttons, and you're going to be able to press those buttons and put them in any assignment. Okay, so that's the underlying principle of quick adjustments. You need to do one of those 3 things to adjust, you know, your linebackers, your DBs, or you know, adjust your defensive line, okay? But beyond that, you can chain these adjustments together. So you see how I'm in cover 2 right here? If I wanted to set up a cover 3 cloud, basically is what we call it, really what I would do is I would need to press Y twice, then I would need to press X, and I would need to put my corner right here in an outside third. Then I would need to press Y twice again and press Y for the 3rd time because I want to adjust Y. And then I need to put my middle safety in an inside third, like this. And then the last adjustment, I don't have a flat right here on the left side, so I would need to put this linebacker here in a crow flat. So I would press D-pad right twice, and then I would press X in this case, and then I would put him in that crow flat assignment, all right? Now, you can see how we just went from a cover 2 to a much like, you know, less. They have much less of a chance to bomb this defense because we're in cover 3 on one side, all right? So we just basically changed up our whole coverage, right? Maybe they read that we're gonna be in cover 2, so they call a post route to, you know, on X, but obviously when they throw it, there's gonna be just a man breaking there. If he has better zone coverage, he's there. But If we were in cover 2, obviously you know that if you just call a post against cover 2, it's just a wide open touchdown a lot of the time, right? And so being able to adjust your entire defense is very, very valuable. It's also very valuable if you call like a man coverage based play, maybe something like this, where you don't actually want to run man coverage. You want to show maybe pressed cover 0, but you actually want to drop into cover 2. Right? So again, I'm just setting up the defense using quick adjustments, and now you can see how this looks like pressed cover 0, but we're actually dropping into, you know, a cover 2 defense. And again, I set pretty much all of that up in under 2 seconds, right? What you don't want to do is if we just reset the play and you wanted to like set up a cover 2 out of this, what you're probably doing is clicking onto this man, then pressing A and then putting him in the zone, clicking onto this guy, and you see how I clicked it wrong. Right, and that probably happens a lot for you too. Then you press A, put this guy in a deep half, press A, deep half. So it's like, this is way slower. But when you're able to call your play and then basically just move your fingers, know what assignment does what, you can see how the same defense is set up in under 2 seconds. So that's really helpful for you on defense, because making adjustments is very important, but doing them fast is probably even more important, and that's gonna help you out a lot on defense. All right, you're probably still getting beat by corner routes, post routes, whatever on the field. Let me show you the best way to stop pretty much all flood concepts. All right, so if we come in a gun bunch, we call deep flood. All right, this is going to be on, for us on defense, we need to make sure we have all 3 zone drop depths on default. I told you earlier in the video how if you want to set your zone drops and forget them for the rest of the game, I would recommend curl flats on 5. But here in this particular defense, all match coverage based plays, you see how, you know, cover 6 has match, cover 0 has blitz, cover 3 has zone, right? If we scroll down again, we have 2 matching plays here in purple. Any play that says match on it requires you to have all 3 zone drop depths on default for the coverage to play correctly. If you were to call cover, let's see, where is it? Cover 4 quarters, or yeah, cover 4 quarters, and you had your curl flats on 5, this plays like cover 4 drop. It doesn't, there's no match involved in it, so it's gonna like not be the same. So you're gonna be thinking you're running one defense, but you're not running it at all. So make sure that anytime you call a match play, you have all 3 zone drop depths on default, like I do right here. All right, so we're gonna come into cover 6, and you're gonna see how this is gonna function, right? We're gonna have them call a flood concept, obviously street corner flat, something like this. This is very common. But if we just watch this play, these guys pass the routes off so perfectly on that right side, the flood side, and they're gonna have no room to throw it. Honestly, every player has been baited by match coverage before, because I'm gonna be honest with you, they call this play, all right, they see the tight ends guarded. Now, if we pause it right here, this looks like cover 4 on this side, or cover 3 or cover 4. And if we know anything about cover 3, cover 4, on the short side, this corner route will get wide open on the sideline. But you see what happens as he runs the route, number 1 starts to follow him across the field, and so then we're able to just play really good defense down the field, completely take it away. It's almost like he's running the route for the guy. So essentially, when you're able to play match coverage, you're gonna be able to just close these windows way tighter and make these throws impossible. Also, you're not gonna get bombed over the top by this shriek, because they might see this defender commit down here, and then they oh, I can throw this, but that's not going to be the case, because we're pretty much everywhere and we're going to sit on everything. All right, you're also able to see again, your quarter flat's going to do a great job of just taking away this flat route and, you know, completely locking it down. All right, you also see, you know, on the other side, you have, I mean, you have a cover 2. That's why I like cover 6 so much, because you still have underneath zone support. You still have this verhook on the field, which really isn't the case when you're running cover 4 quarters, cover 4 palms, right? If they call, we're gonna have them call a different play, right? A delayed flood. Maybe this is a flood over the left side, crosser, drag, shriek, right? You're gonna see how we're gonna handle this well as, we're gonna handle this as well, right? So we're gonna take this snap, and you just have to read the play. You're able to see right here, look how beautiful that is. Sometimes, here's the thing, when you run match, I don't wanna ever promise you guys a full stream. You can't literally put your controller down. You have to actually use their stuff, but you're actually able to see on this play, we do a great job of taking away everything, right? Because here's the thing, match coverage adapts to the route concept that they have called. You see how we're in the same defense. I didn't change anything about the cover shell, but the whole defense changed. who's guarding who changed drastically because they called a different route concept, right? And so this time you're able to see Bray Hubbard's gonna guard this crosser instead of guarding this shriek on the last play, right? And then you're also able to see this shriek on the outside is gonna get guarded, this tight end's gonna get guarded, and then he's also gonna collapse down on that swing route. And so you could switch stick onto him if you want. That's the great thing too, combining this with switch stick, which I may or may not be talking about next, right? Everything comes back together, like everything connects, right? And so you're able to just play really good defense to stop those crossers, right? Those, corner routes, simply because you're in a match coverage based play. I don't really think there's anything else to break down here with match coverage, but if you're getting beat by flood concepts, crossers, posts, really anything that's attacking outside of the hash marks, match coverage is a great answer to that. All right, before we jump into the last tip that I have for you in this video, I wanted to remind you to go down below the link in the description and pinned comment. And if you want this full video in written form, step by step, so you can always access it in your next game, you never lose it. Again, bltforlife21.com/volt. I have the full written breakdown for you. I encourage you to check it out. All right, and so that last tip that's gonna make your defense a million times better is switch stick. Let me show you the best way to do it and how to do it. All right, so if we come into, this is just a cover 2 defense, right? So this is one of my favorite ways to switch stick. Now, you need to understand a couple of things with the switch stick. You never want to have your user in a blitz angle like this. You see Jefferson's blitzing. If I take the snap and try to switch stick using the right stick, which that's how you do it, you flip the right stick in the direction of the player that you want to switch onto. If you're blitzing your user or the player that you're controlling, right, you're never going to be able to switch stick. You would have to. Now, if you happen to blitz your user by accident, really what you could do, just use the D-pad to switch, and then you can resume to using the right stick if you want. But for the most part, general concept here, never blitz your user, right? It makes the switch stick nearly impossible for you, all right? So always make sure he's in a zone like this, or he's like manned up onto somebody. Just some sort of coverage assignment is the best way to remember it, all right? So again, I'm gonna put him in that zone, and you're gonna see this time, I'm gonna take the snap, and whatever routes they have on the field, I'm just trying to cover them. You see how I'm just switch sticking, coming down, making plays, taking away openings, and this makes offense way harder. I'll say this, been playing this game, switch stick came out in Madden 25, College Football 25, right? When you play against people who don't know how to use a switch stick or don't switch stick, it feels like you're playing against a computer now, honestly. Like, it's so easy to pass that if you're not doing this correctly or not doing it at all, right, it's so easy to play offense. You have to basically act like you're everywhere on the field. And the best way to kind of practice this is to actually do this, all right? You want to practice this drill. Come into practice mode, spy off the pass rush, all right? Hook up a second controller to the offense so that you can control when they throw the ball, all right? Take the snap and let these receivers run their routes, and you're basically trying to be everywhere. You don't want any grass to be open. You want to be able to defend the route bounces. You want to be able to defend everything from one central player, and you're able to see how I'm doing exactly that. I'm switching, I'm everywhere, I'm taking stuff away, I'm coming down, right? I'm following the route bounces, and obviously eventually you want them to throw the ball away, but you're going to be able to see that's just a really great drill to ensure that no one's open down the field. And you're also practicing the control that switch stick gives you, because here's probably the biggest thing you're struggling with, is you're struggling with, I flick it in this direction, but I don't actually know where it's going to take me. Well, when you get in this drill and get in practice mode, you're going to know where it's going to switch you when you aim the stick in a certain direction. And you're able to see that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm coming across the field, taking stuff away. And that's really the best way to use it, because when I'm on offense, right, a player like me is going to call a route concept like this, right? We're going to call probably just something like this, where we're trying to attack every level of the defense, right? We're gonna have a delayed mesh, a high-low, we're gonna have a return. So this is really hard to defend out of zone coverage, right? But if I'm on defense, I'm able to switch here, I'm able to come down here, I'm able to get here, and now I'm everywhere. And if I wanted to switch onto that safety as well and take away the crosser, I could do that. So essentially, good offensive players are going to call route concepts that make defense really challenging for you, and you actually have to be able to switch stick to be able to defend all this. You see how receivers are running in every direction, and so when you switch stick, you make it much easier, for you to actually be able to guard these things. So again, flicking the right stick in the direction of the players that you want to switch onto is the best way to do it, and this is the best drill to practice doing it. All right, so again, if you found any of those 5 defensive tips helpful, I encourage you to go down below in the description in the pinned comment and grab my written breakdown for this video, where I break down all the things that I talked about in written form so that you can never lose access to them. But if you want to know the best defensive playbook that you need to be using to win more games in college football 26, check out this video where I break down the top 3 that you should be trying out. I'll see you over there.